Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is September 30th, Tuesday. The market just closed. Let's take a look at the tickers and the price action. I removed one ticker from the set that we've been tracking for the past few months, and I added a new one. It's also a long, so you should wait till the end of the video to see what it is. Let's kick things off with the triple Qs. You can see in the recent price action for the triple Qs that last week or so we had all-time highs, and you can see that the overhead resistance annotated in red here is still in play. So to review for everybody, we've got a lot of bearishness indicators here that I highlighted with the sharks. It's all because of the bearish signals down here in the RSI. My annotations with the squiggly lines remains in play. The overall direction for triple Qs remains to the downside. It's just the sharks haven't made their big sell move yet, but it's coming, okay? So just expect that it's coming. So no change in my prediction for triple Qs. Heading to GDX, which is the gold miners play. My prediction from the past few weeks, similar to triple Qs, is to the downside, but you can see that price has been moving upward. At the same time, over the past week, so in this zone here, you can see there's a high here, a new high here, a new high here. So 3 data points of upward price movement. But at the same time, down here, the same 3 data points, this one, and this one, is a loss in momentum, waning momentum. So hence my annotation like this. I'm going to add another shark up here just to reinforce the direction that the sharks are getting out of their trade. And you can see that the volume is decreasing, okay? You can see it here in the volume candles down below. So overall, no change in my prediction for triple Qs, for GDX. It's still to the downside. There may be a small bounce. Actually, let me just clean this up just a bit. A small bounce off of this trend line here. So let's extend it. Okay. So it's possible price will come down, bounce off of it, and then resume a southward move. Okay. So it's possible there may be some support along this trend line. But ultimately, it is to the downside. I wouldn't go long on GDX. Let's switch to the Bitcoin play, strategy stock. This one showed bullishness. You can see it here, this bullishness. Hence, I put the whale. Now, with the price action over the past week or so, if you watched my last video, I said there's likely support along this trend line right here, this price point of 307. What they did instead was they sold it down below the 307. The next day, which was Friday, they closed it at 307 and then pushed it above yesterday and today. So price is above that. I think there is further upside to the Microstrategy stock, due to bullishness. Okay, even more bullishness. Let me just kind of zoom in here for you to see these two low peaks right here, low troughs. I guess that's what you would call it. This one and this one. It's increasing. Okay, whereas price up here is decreasing. So with that, the annotation for the whale, I'm going to slide it over. Stick it right here. This is the support line at about 301. I'm going to put this down here then, okay, and revisit the annotations because there is quite a significant amount of bullishness. So let's see where price is possible to go. It's very possible that they will sell it back down to create a double bottom. Okay, so they'll sell it back down and then do the upward move. So the intention is to build a base here, and they'll probably come back, build a second base somewhere over here, and then have the actual longer term move come off of the second base. Okay, so that's kind of where I think it's going to go. They may reject it off of here, which is this near-term trend line here. There may be some resistance there. I'll go like this, make it red, and then if it comes down here again and finds support, I would go long. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one for it to hit support around here. Okay, because it's quite a bit of divergence, bullish divergence down here. So, all right. Switching to Microsoft. Microsoft continues to move sideways, and I talked about this zone here, which is the gap fill, which it did here, filled it all through here, and then it's been using it as resistance. It hasn't, price hasn't shown conviction to push back through it. It's almost like the buyers haven't shown up yet. Now, the only significant buying point is this day here. This is Friday the 19th. That's decent volume. That's 52 million shares for buyers coming back in. Since then, the volume hasn't been that great, below 20 million, below 15 million or so. Based on that, my overall direction is unchanged for Microsoft. Take your profits, protect your gains, and wait for an entry. I think it's lower prices for Microsoft, especially look at this. The 200-day here, then this huge gap down here. Okay, from where we are right now, down to gap entry, it's about 17%, and gap fill, almost 23, 24%. So that's quite a lot of possible downside to contend with. Switching to Tesla. Okay, let's zoom in here. I want to highlight a few points. I talked about how the market makers would likely push price around up here above this trend line, which they are. You can see that. I also made a point to say the selling will resume due to bearish divergence, and the bearish divergence has continued. Okay, so this price point here, which is today, it's a high, a near-term high, is coinciding with this low point here in the RSI. So hence, I extended this line here. I'm going to delete this circle, and yeah, no change in overall direction. You can see my annotations. I'm just going to slide it to the right. Okay, that's my arrow here. Excuse me as I attempt to grab it. Okay, to the downside. All right. Let's switch to Palantir. Palantir is moving sideways a bit just for the past week. The overhead resistance that I drew here is still in play. There's resistance there. I'm just going to clean up some of these other annotations here. The overall direction is unchanged. It's to the downside. Let's just kind of slide it over still. And yeah, if you're in Palantir right now, take your profits because you've had a really good ride to the upside. Now it's time to take your profits and wait. Switching to Northrop Grumman. The price action is not at all what I indicated from the perspective of near-term price moves. What we do see is we see a high here. Okay, this is all-time highs. I'm going to go back to the weekly real quick. Yeah, it's probably all-time highs. So all-time highs for Northrop Grumman with a continuing bearishness. Okay, so let's switch back to the daily. So the bearishness, the momentum change continues. It's actually just growing. So take your profits. If you're in it long, take your profits and be thankful, be very lucky. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit so that these other annotations don't interfere with our current analysis. What I will do is I'm going to use this line, which I've already drawn, and connect some points here. So let's zoom in, take a look. Okay, so the points I want to look at, I want to highlight for you, because I'm doing this on the fly. I'm going to highlight this, the top of this green candle, the close of it, not the top of the candle, but the close of it, the close of this green candle, and the close of today's candle. Okay, so let's look at those. And then I'm going to zoom in and connect this line right here so that it is at the, you can see it right there. Okay, so at the top of the green candle. Then I'm going to move this part to, okay, so you can see it right there. So let's see. So right now we only have 2 points to deal with. Okay, we have this first point, the second point, and then what I'm trying to do is find where resistance will come. So I think there will be some overhead resistance here. And how much more upside might we have if you were in it long? You have, oh, so not very much. Okay, so you could have anywhere between, you know, about 1% or depending on where it is, so maybe another 1.5%, 2%, okay, of upside. And then further low prices to the downside. So yeah, my annotations are only going to change in that I was wrong about when the selling would start. But I think the selling will start up here. Okay. All right. That's Northrop Grumman. Let's go to GM Automotive. You can see here that, let's see here, the price action up here is above this trend line. So here's the trend line. Price is above it, bouncing around. Not a lot of volume to keep it up there. What we do see is it is above this wedge. Okay, so here's the wedge. It's above the wedge. It's dancing around up there. Is there bearishness? There is. So I'll go like this. So what we see here is between this date here, which is 25 August, which is this price point, and today's price action, you know, the price is going upward, but the momentum continues to go downward. So really, the overall direction, I'm not going to tell you to go long now. Still, don't go long. Take your profits if you're in GM, and then get ready for the selling to begin. Okay, they'll probably do something like that. All right. Switching to one of the long plays. This one is just taking a little while to unfold. You know, they often say that longs take so people who are long, that means they invest low, buy low and sell high. It takes a long time for price to go up. So price takes the staircase, takes steps, right? Whereas shorts take the elevator down because it's quick. Price action moves quickly. So if you're in a price long, in a stock to go long, like I am for GIS, it's going to take some time. And I talked about this entire zone here as being an accumulation zone, and how you could, if you could take an entry off of this trend line right here, that would have been beautiful. And since then, price has moved up slowly. Now, this purple trend line is a very long-term trend line. It goes back. This is the weekly now. It goes back. You can see where price bounced off of it in these weeks, all the way back to 20 here. Look at this, the 2009s. Okay, so if price holds, which to me it is holding, then the opportunity for a nice upside move is present. So you can see my annotations here. I'll just slide them over to the right. Just kind of clean it up a bit. Slide this over, okay. And yeah, it's a good trade. Now, how much upside do we have? From where we are, let's say here, to the 200-day, about 9%. Okay, so it depends where you hit it. And then up to, this zone up here where I put this tiny gap fill up here. It's about a 28, almost a 29% move. So it's a big move up. Okay, that would be this would be a nice long, especially with all this divergence down here. All right, that's a long. Next one is UPS. I've been talking about this as a long. I'm also in this trade, just like GIS. The annotations don't really need to be changed. You can see it here. This is a accumulation zone. Goodness. Hence I drew this green highlighter. And it's possible they'll bounce it off of here. They'll use this as a bit of resistance to come back down. But ultimately, the price movement is upward. Okay, so that's UPS. Now, here's the bonus ticker, which typically I don't like these. Certain stocks I don't like because they feel to me to be heavily manipulated, more than all the other stocks. Okay, Lululemon is one of them. I feel it's one of those heavily manipulated stocks. Now, what I do want to look at is what the data shows us. Okay, now you can see here, this is the weekly chart. I want to highlight a few areas from a weekly perspective. This zone, okay, you can see how the price behaves here, how price behaves here, and then what price is doing in the near term in this zone here. The reason why I want to talk about this behavior is that from a weekly perspective, this dark black trend line that I have just drawn is validated multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay. Now, the reason why I want to highlight that this is a valid trend line is that we can expect price to behave a certain way once it's there. So in the near-term perspective, you can see price failed down here on the week of early September. So first week of September, big selling day. The volume is 60 million, big selling week. So 60 million shares that week sold down. And then in the subsequent weeks, the next 3 weeks, some price action to buy it back up. If we go to the daily chart, this is the key piece here. The key piece for me is that buyers came in on this date. This is February 5th. Friday the 5th of September. Okay. So 36 million shares. 36 million shares. It's not retail investors. It's not the grandmas, the grandpas. It's not your uncle. It's not the small fish buying back in. These are whales. 36 million shares. Because look, when you look down here, okay, right here, these are volume candles. I'm going to zoom out for you. Notice how volume is minuscule, comparatively. On an average day, all through November 24, you're at about 2 million shares, okay? Not that many big spikes. When you zoom in on these 3 days, this is accumulation, especially here. This is 36 million shares. These are some big whales coming in to to tell one another, you know, guys, it's time to buy back in. Let's zoom out even more. I'm going to zoom out even more, go back to the weekly to emphasize this point. On this week, overall 60 million shares. Okay, this is the beginning of the get back in, you big whales, because the first whale did it. So the other whales are waking up and also intending to do it. And what I want to show you is this candle here, down here, okay, where my circle is, that's spinning around down here. So this candle here is 60 million shares. And now we're going to scroll to the right to see if there's another candle with the same conviction. Okay, we don't see a 60 million shares. Like, what's this one here? This red one. This is 80 million. Ooh, 80 million, but it's 80 million on accumulation as well. Okay, look at this. Here's the bullishness. Okay, I can't stress enough. There's the bullishness on the weekly chart to go against the price action that's going downward, whereas the momentum is going upward. The conviction is here. Okay, they sold it down and then they start to accumulate and boom, off to the races. Okay, so from a weekly perspective, if you were lucky enough to get the long down here, let's just play this fun game. If you took the long down here and you got all the way up to where the high is, that's like 800%. Okay, that's from 2018. So anyway, I'm not saying we're going to hit a atmospheric grand slam home run, but the accumulation is happening right here, right now. So this is to me, a strong buy signal due to the whales jumping back in for Lululemon. So what you should ask me is, okay, John, if I were to get back in and follow your trade, because I am in this long, and remember, I'm not an investment advisor or financial advisor or any of those, credentialed degrees. Just remember, these are just my opinions. Now, where is the potential upside? The upside, let's look at the 200-day. So from where we are now, actually, I don't want to talk about where we are now. We need to look at this line here, the 168 line. To me, the 168 line is a strong conviction line. So from the 168, which is down here, all the way up to the 200-day, wherever the 200-day is, or the entry of the other gap fill. So here's the other gap fill. Entry to that, okay? Entry to that, 62% move. So, yeah, to me, it's not going to happen right away. Remember, longs take a while. So give it a few months. I'm in it. So at the very least, I'll get it through this gap fill. It'll come up, hit the 200-day, and the 200-day would be resistance. So price would then come back down, but it will find support again, probably at the top edge of this, gap, and then resume. Anyway, I usually play it as moves, but overall, from a medium-term perspective, it is a really nice long. So I'm just going to annotate it. Yeah. So it'll bounce around, perhaps down here, come up, hit the 200-day. Overall, I think it's actually, I don't think it might not go all the way up there. I'm just going to here hit the 200-day, at least due to the gap fill. Okay, so maybe around here. So gap fill. Yeah, so thereabouts. Okay, but it'll be months. Okay, so that's the bonus ticker for you. Another long, 3 longs for you to look at. The 3 longs being GIS, UPS, and Lululemon. All right, so if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends and family. I'm at 98 subscribers. Perhaps if we get to 100 subscribers, then I'll do a bonus video and talk about my perspective on the financial ecosystem, the different players in the market, and how we, as the small fries, the remora fish, need to be aware of how the other players operate in this market. Not just the generic definitions that I've been giving to you about the sharks and the whales, but I'll give you a little bit more detail about why they behave the way they behave, because that's how the landscape really is. Okay? As always, good luck with your trades, and I'll see you again.